funny, no? Okay.
So each of us have 15 minutes, I believe, right?
Yeah, I think usually 8 to 10 minutes, but I'm not gonna cut you guys off. I mean, just do as much as you need. I mean, the idea is to be as more like to provide the more content at the shortest time, and that's usually how we should do it. But of course, I'm not gonna cut anybody. No, it's still It's still democracy.
8 to 10 minutes. Okay, great.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So I think we're done. Okay, let me. Okay. Okay, guys. So I guess we can start then. So we have plenty of people here. Okay. Okay, so guys who are ready. So thank you for joining our webinar. This is our second event of the year, the biggest one so far, and this is thanks to all the speakers and the partners. So let me share my screen, and I guess we can go from there. Okay, do you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so thank you again for joining the webinar. For some of you, is good evening. For some of you, is good morning. For some of you, is like a good day. So it doesn't matter. No, we're here today. I'm the Nick Penev. I'm the partnership manager of hellotax and the founder of Extreme Power Brand. So what we do? One thing we do in hellotax, we cover the VAT compliance for Amazon sellers in Europe. But me personally, I love to connect people and to do these great events. We've done plenty last year, and we're continuing that this year. And the second one of the year is called Amazon Experts Roundtable. Rank, launch, scale, and expand globally in 2022, because it's the goal for each one of you guys is to start in your local market and expand globally. But of course, there is a lot of blockers when you do that. So we're going to cover the main ones, and the speakers today are going to tell you how and with what tricks and growth hacks they can help you with that. The speakers there are John Elder, founder of Black Label Advisor. He used to be an Amazon seller. He has scaled his brand from 0 to over 5+ million, and he sold his brand. So he has done the journey from the start to the end. So
it's great to be here.
Yeah, thank you, John. John will introduce himself in more details, but the long story short is he has been where you guys are planning to go. So he knows all these tricks, and he's advising company how to do that. Izabela Hamilton, founder of RankBell, is the second speaker. She's a close friend of mine. She's a great speaker. She has a lot of energy, and we both are love the number 3. So that's one thing. And she helps company how to rank on page 1, because it doesn't matter what you're selling. If people don't find you and don't see you, it doesn't matter. You might have the best product, but people need to see you. So she'll tell you what she's doing with her agency and how she's helping brands to go on page number 1. And after that, Dilip Vamanan, he's the co-founder of SellerApp, which is a great tool which is helping sellers with tools, because of course you can do it manually, but good luck. I mean, you need tools. I mean, this is why we're doing these events, because we need expertise, tips, and tools to help you out. And we do the unsexy topic, which is taxes in Europe. I'm sure nobody of you guys would like to listen about taxes, but guess what? I mean, you guys have no choice. If you want to sell in Europe on Amazon, Amazon is asking, okay, where is your VAT? So the company was founded by Amazon sellers, so we were making this process as easy as possible. So and just to let you know, this is our biggest event so far, and that's thanks to our partners who help us promote the event and get as many people that we can educate with the content. So our gold partner is Tomer Rabinovich. Few of you guys might have heard him, but Tomer is running multiple brands on Amazon. He's a trusted advisor for a lot of companies like big brands, aggregators, and also he's the founder of the Top Dog community, which is hosting the Top Dog Summit. And by the way, they'll have one in-person summit in Bulgaria in May. He is running a free product selection workshop next week. So We'll send you more details in the follow-up email after the event, and you can just sign up for free and just take advantage of all this free education and tools that he's offering. Our second sponsor is Quaidas and his agency, AMZBs. I'm not sure if you know Quaidas, but he's the wunderkind of the Amazon space. He's 23, and he has been running an Amazon agency since like 5 or 6 years ago. And he has scaled a one product brand from 50K to 20 millions the last year. So get in touch with him. He's very active. He's educating. He's doing a lot of events as well, but we'll send you more details to get in touch with them. And we have several bronze partners market-wise. And Nirveh is the best fixer in the Amazon industry. If you guys have any issues with suspensions, troubles with Amazon that you're not able to resolve, he's the go-to guy. George Ordones, he's one of the biggest educators in the Spanish space. John knows him very well. He's very active. He's like one of the best listing websites in Europe. If you have a service provider or if you're looking for any solution. Volvo even, he's another close partner of mine. He has a YouTube channel with 4,000 subscribers, and he's doing a lot of educational videos with tools, solutions, people that can help you out. Margin Business is another partner of us who helped us to promote the event. They're doing listing optimizations and translation localized for Europe with native speakers only, and we'll cover that later on. You'll see why this is important. Ecomc is a partner of mine. He has a unique story. He used to be an aviation engineer in Rolls-Royce. He quit his job a few years ago, and now he's running a full service agency that is covering like brands in Europe, in the States. He does that in Italy, Spain, English. And the last partner is Stefano. He also is running a niche boutique agency which specializes with brands management in Europe only and mostly in Southern Europe. So that's about our partners. We'll send you more in the follow-up email when you can get in touch with them, because we have prepared a lot of giveaways from them, over 7,000, but let's not talk about the commercials right now. Let's just provide you some more information. So here is the agenda for today's meeting. First, I'll tell you about the VAT and the sales tax, and we'll start with one of the topics that probably nobody would like to listen, but we'll start with the one thing which is a must in Europe. And then Izabela will tell you about how to launch, rank, and exit in 1 year. It might sound crazy, but this is possible. There are some people who are doing that, and she'll talk about the global scale of that. And then SellerApp is going to explain how to scale and do the maximum of your growth using their tools. And the last part, and the hardest, is what John and Black Label Advisor are going to explain. Customer service is a virtue. How to do more than what you usually do. Not only tools, but different growth hacks, so we can grow from 1 million to 10 million, which is usually the hardest part. And of course, at the end, we have the Q&A session. So if you guys have any questions, I see plenty of those in the chat. I cannot check them out right now, but once we start doing the presentations, we can start answering those in the meantime, of course, if we can. If not, just type your question, we'll answer that at the end, and you can watch the recording if you have to leave or you have something else to do. So let's talk about taxes. Like I told you, I run the partnerships for hellotax. The hellotax is a VAT compliance solution in Europe. So what are we doing? If you're expanding to Europe, you need to be tax compliant. So what we do, we help you out with that. Because if you don't have the VAT, you cannot even start selling in Europe. So that's priority number one. And somebody would ask, okay, but why Europe? I mean, we are selling in the States. Of course, I mean, everybody's selling in the States, but Europe is a huge market, which is, I call it uncut gem. And the reason for that is the following. It's a whole new continent. The total population is over 7 million. 400 million of those are people over 18 who you can consider them as clients. 27 new markets. And obviously you can transform your brand from a local one to a global one. If your competitors are not doing that, and if you do that, obviously you take them over, and you should use that as an advantage. And of course, the more you scale, the more products you sell, the more products you can buy, and obviously you can reduce the cost of your supplies. And of course, you can get better rates. So simply growing. And in terms of VAT, what do you need to know in Europe? You need to know your VAT liability from the past and the present in all the countries that you're selling. You need to register for VAT in one or more markets, depending on where you store your goods, and you need to have a complete visibility of your goods, Amazon, off Amazon, etc. And you need to know what goods are you moving from one market to another one. For let's say, no, you import your goods to Netherlands, you're moving that to Germany. You need to report that. And this all of that, we're doing that for our software. And somebody will say, okay, but why do we need that? I mean, the reason is because Europe is a continent. We're the European Union, and we're probably the idea is to become something like the States, but we're far away from that. There is different VAT rates in Europe, different languages, so it's a mess. And this is what we do with the software. You don't need to know that. You simply connect with us, and we do all the part that you would need to do manually yourself. Complexity for the VAT registration process. Now, when you start selling in Europe, if you don't know, Amazon is going to tell you, hey, John, let's do the PANU. Let's register for 7 markets. Okay, that's bullshit. I mean, you shouldn't do that. They just make money from fees, but that's not the right way, because you don't need to do that. You can start from the easiest ones, which are like Poland, Germany, Italy, and then you can do the more complex markets like Spain. But usually, no, I will recommend one. Start with one and use that as an expansion package. So Poland, Germany, they're the easiest ones in regards to the documents that are required and how hard it is to register. And Spain is the worst in regards to that. They would like original documents, notary, and all this kind, and it takes sometimes 4 to 5 months. So it's probably the worst place to get started in Europe. And somebody would ask, okay, why do we need VAT? I mean, the first reason is because Amazon requires that. We have no choice. But besides that, I mean, there is 2 reasons. I mean, before we used to have a distance selling threshold. You don't need to worry about that anymore, because we have the so-called one-stop shop from last year, meaning that you can have one storage location, and once you hit 10,000 euro, you can opt in for the one-stop shop, and you don't need to do any more registrations as long as you store your goods only in one market. So that's condition number 1. The second option is when you store goods in any given market in any country from before you do the first unit. If you do that, you need to have VAT registrations in advance. So if you store in all the markets in Europe, you need VAT in each one of them. So this is still valid after July last year. So nothing has been changed here. So what are the main blockers in Europe? The first one is language barrier. We speak all kinds of languages in Europe. So if you don't have your listing, translations, and everything in the local language translated by the native, you would look funny, you would look unserious, so nobody's going to buy your products. I used to run e-commerce business in Europe for 10 years, and I can tell you, if your translations are not good enough, nobody's going to buy your product. And now it's even truer, because, I mean, with Amazon, I mean, you need to have your proper content in the proper language. So the next part is VAT, customs, and logistics. We cover the VAT, and we also have a partner of networks, like the partners today, which are helping out with the rest. If you need the customs partner, we cover that. If you need logistics partners, we have several. So the idea is not only to do the VAT, but to provide you a complete package so you're not stuck. You have all the challenges and the solutions which can help you out and resolve all the blockers in Europe. So, and what is that we recommend to everybody? If you would like to expand in Europe, start always with Germany. It's the second or the first market after Amazon.us, biggest market in Europe, central location. They accept documents in Germany, and is no-brainer. You should start there. And you should use that as a base to expand to the other markets. Like I said, Amazon is going to tell you, okay, let's do 3 markets, let's do 5, 7. Don't do that. I mean, because you have so much not issues, but all the documents that you need to provide, some people would give up. So start small, and then you can expand to the other markets, because you can store your goods in Germany, you can sell to all the other markets, and without the need to do VAT registrations in advance, in a way that you can sell from Germany and make deliveries to the whole of Europe without the need to do anything in the meantime. And if your sales are going great, let's say in Italy, Spain, France. Then you can set up the storage in the local market to reduce the cost of your shipping and of course to make quicker deliveries, but start small and scale. We covered that. We have a package for that. It's called expansion to Europe. And to let you know what we're doing in a quick overview, we do digital online VAT registrations and returns for e-commerce and Amazon sellers across Europe. We have tax advisors in each markets. We process the data and we validate that before we do anything. We have an automation with Amazon, meaning that you just connect your account, we get the data, you just pay your VAT return, and that's it. You don't need to worry about anything else. We have people talk in multiple languages, so we have the SaaS solution on the front end and the managed service on the back end. We have a free service and free portal. I'll send that in the follow-up email. You can check it out. So I think that's it from me, guys. We'll send more information later on, but let's continue with the more interesting topics, because I know taxes is not sexy, but anyways, I think we've covered why this is important. So I'll stop sharing and I'll let Izabela Hamilton introduce herself, and she'll tell you what you do after you get your VAT and how you do the next step, which is even more important because let's say the bureaucracy is over. How do you go to page number one and how you scale?
Well, hello, everyone. Nick is literally one of my favorite people, and you guys can probably see why. Not only is he super smart, but he's super funny. Like every time you talk, I just want to laugh, and I know you don't even do it on purpose. You're just so honest and upfront that it just comes out funny to me, and I'm just like giggling in the background. Like I didn't mean to like laugh at any point, but it was just so funny. You're like, this is bullshit. I love that. Like I love how honest you are all the time. So it's my favorite. And I think
my son told me I should put this frog on my shirt, so I should just have it in my sock. This is probably why I'm funny. But
listen, it works. Okay, so whatever works. But I thought your presentation was amazing. I mean, even though taxes are not sexy or anything, but I think it's better to be informed than get into selling in Europe and not know what you're doing. So I think it's really great. My presentation is not as sexy and beautiful and detailed like the one you just did, but I'll go ahead and share, and I'll just go as we'll see how this is gonna go. But anyway, guys, my name is Izabela Hamilton. For those who don't know who I I am the owner of RankBell, and I am here today to tell you about launch, ranking, and exiting. And Amazon is not really a sexy topic, right, Nick? It's always like, we always try to make it a little better than what it is, but really it's very simple. So I want to go through this real quick. And again, it's not very extensive, but you guys feel free to ask me questions as we go through this. So RankBell was created, I keep saying like 6-7 years ago, but it's probably longer now. So I've been in the game for quite a bit. And you know what I noticed, Nick, after all this time is that, even though Amazon has so many changes, it doesn't really change to the core of it, right? Every single seller that comes in, they have to kind of follow the same guidelines. You post your product on Amazon, then you have to find a way to rank it. The way you rank it, obviously, you can use RankBell to do that. But beside that, you got to utilize everything that you have. You have to have a really good PPC campaign. You have to have your images optimized, your listing optimized, and all that stuff. But we'll talk about it more as we go through this presentation. So the process, launch, rank, and hopefully exit and repeat. And I have had a lot of clients in the past that, they just started Amazon, and what they did, they just only really wanted to make cash. They just wanted to make money on Amazon, and, they weren't thinking of exiting. Well, as you know, and everybody listening to this webinar, we're in a different kind of atmosphere right now. I mean, yes, you can make money on Amazon, but now we have this opportunity with all these aggregators around to actually create a brand and sell it. And as I said here, repeat, like what is after you sell your Amazon store. So, when you think of a launch, most people just, as I said, they just go by like different things that they heard from, maybe some Amazon gurus or an Amazon course, but they don't really consider all that it takes to launch a product. I have a lot of people coming to me and, they'll ask me, hey, is it enough to just start Amazon with $5,000 or $10,000 or whatever their budget is? And, this used to be very doable in the past. And I'm not saying that it's not right now. It's just there's a lot more things that are tying into launching a product than just having this small amount of money setting aside. So, optimizing your listing. Before, 6, 7, 8 years ago, you were just able to post your product on Amazon and just, write a few things, take a picture with your phone, and your product would sell like crazy. But now, with the way Amazon is, it's created and it's said, there's a little bit more work to that. And, it always amazes me that people come in and they expect this to be kind of like a high side hustle, and they don't take it as serious as it should be, because this is an actual full-time business for somebody. And I've seen people go from their full-time jobs in, education or government or corporate world, and they decided to make the switch to Amazon because it is so profitable. But I think in the meantime, people forgot what it actually takes to run a business. So they'll come in and they'll expect, with just a small amount of money and, to start a business. But not only that, but they don't want to put in the time that it takes to actually create a brand. They want to live what it's called the laptop lifestyle, where they just go on the beach, kind of like where you are, Nick, right now in your background. They just want to sit there with their laptop and work 5 hours a day, 5 hours a week, and then, be able to make millions of dollars. And, I am so grateful actually for Amazon and what it has done for not only me, but everyone in the community, because it is a laptop lifestyle. If you really think about it, you're able to make your own time and make your own hours, but that's not to say that you don't have to put in an effort. So when it comes to ranking, you want to make sure that you're reaching the right audience. And we do this by understanding the customer journey. So for those who know RankBell, we used to do organic ranking through search, find, buy. And recently, Amazon has changed that a little bit for us. So I get a lot of emails asking me, what's new in the ranking world and what is it allowed and what is not allowed. And RankBell has always been a proponent of, following the TOS. We always want to make sure that we keep our customers safe. And I know there's still a lot of ranking agencies, companies out there that, maybe are not really taking this seriously, but I am, I've been in the business for so long, and I know how important it is to really follow the guidelines and really create a brand. So how do you create a brand if you do not understand your customer journey? And I'll get into that a little bit. And as far as exiting, if you have all these strategies set right from the beginning, you are definitely able to sell your business in a year. And I've seen it. Obviously, it doesn't happen every single day, again, because it takes you back to that, how much time are you willing to put into this and effort? And that's what most people don't want. We're living in the internet world, in the 5-second world, where we want everything to be done now. And there are a lot of opportunities that are missed because people, don't put in this much effort into their business. So launching, as I said, it's a very, very crucial. You need to have reviews, you need to have sales, and you need to have ranking. But the way Amazon is like, if you don't have reviews, if you're not ranking, how are you going to get the sales? So this is always like a paradox. Like, how are we getting around this? So just by working with thousands and thousands of clients right now, this is always a question that comes up. It's like, Izabela, how do I sell if I'm not ranking? How am I going to sell if I don't have reviews? And it always comes down to, how great your product is, one, because there is a lot of competition, guys. There is a lot. Before you used to put in a baby bassinet on Amazon and it would just sell because there was not much competition. But now is like, how can you make your product a little bit different? How are you improving your listing? How are you improving your picture? So even before launching, I would say really sit down, not only with yourself if you don't really have that much experience on Amazon, but maybe somebody in the community or maybe a consultant that can help you at least figure out what are some things that you need to do right before you launch your product. Because that's another thing that I see a lot of people do. They just launch and then they say, well, my product is amazing, I just don't understand why I'm not getting the sales. So the honeymoon period, for those that don't know what that is when you first list your product on Amazon, Amazon gives you a period of time where it allows you to rank your product a little faster than the other people that have been selling for a while, because they want to give you that edge, that a little bit of a boost, because you're new and they really want you to succeed. And, I never really found out what the honeymoon period length is. I believe is between, 1 to 2 months. I mean, sometimes it's shorter, sometimes can be longer, but there's not really one place where you can pinpoint and be like, this is it. So it's just something that you have to see for yourself. But it's very important that when you launch your product, you do have some strategy set in place, whether it's a ranking strategy or, or a PPC strategy. Very important. So, as I said, your success in the beginning really sets the tone for the success of your product. But it does not mean that if you launched a few months ago and nothing has happened, there's no sales, that your product is automatically dead. It's just, it's much better to get it ready right before you start. Getting in front of the right eyes is super important. Everybody knows this. And just from doing research and collecting some data over the years, we found out that about 81% of the clicks are on products that are ranked on first page of search results. And, I can attest to this myself, because obviously I'm also a consumer. I also shop on Amazon. I have a 6-year-old. He always needs stuff from Amazon. So I would literally just type in the keyword of what I want, whether it's like pencils for kindergarten, whatever it is. And then I usually don't go past the first 3, 4, maybe 5 products on the first page, because it's usually products that are a little cheaper are not, people really want to spend the time. If it was a product that's like over $100 or in the higher range, that's when people get really into doing a little bit more research. Maybe they'll go on page 2 or 3 because the product cost is a little higher. But if your product is under $50, I am confident in saying that, most people are not going to look past page 1. So you really, truly want to be on page 1 if you really want to make this work. Let's see, what do we have next? So 70% of consumers never go beyond the first page. I think it's, it's pretty much obvious at this point. This leaves the rest of the consumers going beyond the first page with 6 pages of other competitors to compete with. It's a must to have your product ranked on first page. What determines organic ranking? Relevancy. The marketing on your listing speaks to your customers and targets all the points that would drive a purchase. So you really want to make sure that your product is the keywords that you're ranking for are relevant. Because in the past, I've seen a lot of people trying to do a lot of like gray hat techniques and black hat techniques, and I'm sure they still exist. And I would see them like try to target different keywords that had nothing to do with their product, just to get that ranking up and have people hopefully click on their product and eventually buy it, even though it's not something they were looking for. And it probably worked for a little bit, but it's not something I would recommend. You want to make sure that all the keywords that you're ranking for are relevant to your specific product. Conversion rate, the product is driving sales for its relevant index keywords, which obviously it increases your ranking. So having a really good PPC campaign set up right from the beginning. And, a lot of people are like, oh my God, but PPC costs so much. You don't have to spend that much, but you do want to at least put some money in. So Amazon's algorithm realizes that you are really trying to convert for those keywords. So I always suggest PPC for somebody starting right away, like immediately, and throughout your Amazon journey. I think it's very crucial. As I said, you don't have to spend thousands of dollars, but even putting a little bit of money in, it really goes a very long way. In customer satisfaction, your customers are satisfied with your product, leading to low rates of returns and positive feedbacks and reviews. And even though I know reviews are kind of hard to come by, especially again today, everybody's attention span is that of a goldfish. Nobody really wants to spend too much time. They will, however, give you a bad review if your product sucks, and we don't want to get to that point. You want to make sure that you create your product that's sellable, that people don't really have issues with. And how do you get to that point? Well, until now, there hasn't really been a service out there that really audits the performance of your product. And this is something that RankBell is working on right now, since search, find, buy, it's really frowned upon these days. Where we tried at RankBell to find another way where people can still improve their ranking, but this time by really creating that perfect product where people are not going to return your product they're not going to give you a bad review, and instead give you a full audit of your product and finding out what they love and what they do not love about your product. How can I understand exactly what my customer wants? Survey your audience, again, which is something that RankBell is working on right now with our new service. We are doing basically a research and data analysis on consumers and exactly what they're looking for. Because before, most people would just go, most sellers would just gather information, again, from courses and different places and asking different sellers. And there are definitely commonalities in creating that product, that perfect product and listing. Everybody knows you have to have perfect pictures, you have to have a perfect listing, but really, truly, we don't really know once it gets into consumers' hand, what is it that they actually love and they don't love about your product. So if you're not able to use a service such as RankBell, maybe you can find somebody in your town or your city, or, maybe if you run a Facebook group, ask some of your friends and have them really give you an honest opinion on your product. And I know that's kind of hard to come by, because when you usually give a product for free to somebody, they automatically want to tell you how great the product is because they feel like they owe you. But you have to just make sure that you tell them that this is very crucial to the product existence. And even if the product sucks, they should tell you straight up. And, not a lot of people want to hear that. They don't want to hear that after they spend 6 months in creating this product, that something is wrong with it. But do you rather find out later through a 1-star review, or do you want to make sure that you get this information prior to, even launching your product? So asking the right questions is also very important. Again, you can get help from different people. There are a lot of Facebook groups where you can ask, your peers, what do they think about specific things, but also making sure that you're asking the right questions to your consumers. What is it that you love about this product? What would you have done differently? Because if you are selling a product for babies, and let's say you never had babies, or even if you do, it does not mean that, every other mom out there wants the exactly same thing. So making sure that you have a sizable audience that you can ask these questions is also very crucial. Building the best product, reviews are the only way right now to learn what your customers think and hear their unbiased feedback directly. But as I said, with reviews, it's kind of hard because most people, they don't take the time to give you, constructive criticism. They'll just tell you that your product sucks, but then doesn't leave you anywhere. You're like, okay, there's so many areas that I could improve. I just don't know. And where. So understanding your product versus your competitors, learn what your customer think about your competitors and how they compare it to yours. So another thing that you guys can be doing, again, if you don't have the ability to use RankBell, making sure that you also have a way of finding out what your competitors are doing. So if you are selling a baby product and, you're you have a baby bassinet, since I started talking about that. You want to order some of your competitors' baby bassinets and see how does it compare to yours. What are some things that they're doing better than you, or maybe worse than you? And based on that, you are able to kind of create that product that's suitable for a large size of your audience, rather than just like one or two people. Yes, so gain insightful knowledge to make the appropriate changes. That's very crucial in prepping your brand for an exit. And there are a lot of companies out there that can help you do this. But if you start selling on Amazon with this thought in mind, one, it will set your journey straight, because now you have a goal to look forward to, rather than just like, oh my God, I hope I make $5,000 this month. Now you can prepare. What are some things that I can do throughout the year to get me to a point by the time, you start in January, in December, you can prepare your brand for sale. So getting insight into, maybe some of the aggregators out there, some of the brokerages, and I'm sure they would love to give you all this information for free, because they're also looking to gain some customers in the future. So don't be afraid to ask, one of us, or again, reach out to aggregators directly and say, hey, I'm launching this brand. I really have faith in it. I think it's going to really be amazing. What are some things that you guys are looking for when you're looking to acquire a brand? And then you'll find out information that it's going to be really helpful to you, because a lot of people, I think they don't know where to start, and then they just kind of go from month to month without really any direction. So being very focused in your intentions and where you want to take your brand. If you just want to sell on Amazon and just have that as a side gig, that's fine as well. But I feel like with all the aggregators coming in, Thrasio and Elevate, and there are just so many that are bringing so much money into this market. It would be a shame not to take advantage of this. And I really think everybody should really try to sell their brand. I do not have a slide for RankBell, but you guys know where you can reach me, and I don't want to take too much of your time, and I know everybody's waiting their turn to speak, but let's see how I can turn this thing off right now. But yeah, so what can I say, guys? I know it's everybody wants to hear the tricks, right? Everybody wants to hear the tricks, but there's really no tricks. I want to tell you guys that everybody comes to me, Izabela, you've been doing this for so many years. I know you have tips and tricks and the hacks in the back end, and there are plenty, but you have to really understand, is 2022. Do I want to create a store or a brand that's going to just be built on tricks and hacks and, get caught by Amazon and get suspended? Or you want to build a brand that's going to sell for, 6, 7, 8, or even higher figures? And again, I see it all the time, and it's beautiful. If you put in your intention right in the beginning, I want to do this right. And if you don't feel ready, do not start. There's no rush. Just make sure you get in touch with you can always reach out to me. Nick is always so helpful. He's done so many introductions for me, I can't even count. We are here to help, guys. Like we're not just here, we're not putting in this time for anything rather than just to help you guys. And as I said, my presentation wasn't all that crazy, but I just want to make sure that you guys understand how important it is to be prepared before you launch your product. Make sure you have enough money to create a sustainable brand, whether that's, borrowing or getting a loan or setting this money aside, because what happens is once you start selling, you realize that this is a business that requires a lot of cash up front, because there are days where you don't see the money coming in, and then you tend to get stressed out. And when you're stressed out, you tend to do a lot of mistakes. So make sure you have a lot of, you have enough money to be able to have enough stock for the next 2, 3, 4, 6 months, if possible, and then start growing from that point on. And then, get your company ready to sell. That's what I got, Nick. I don't know. Do you have any questions? I feel like I speak so fast all the time that
don't worry. We can have the questions, and then so few tips from just a summary from what Izabela said. Look at your competitors, because we have a saying for that in Bulgarian: you don't learn craft, you steal that. So check out what your competitors are doing and do it better. You're not going to reinvent the wheel. Be open, be the internal student. You can always learn new stuff, and you can usually learn stuff by talking to people, partners, clients, even competitors, because you'll get ideas. That's what we do all the time. because if you think that you're too smart, you're gonna fail. Nobody's smart enough. You can always learn something new. The other thing is prepare for the worst, expect the best, and never give up. Because it will be probably you fail many times and you'll succeed once. But John will tell you the story. He's done it from zero to hero, as one of my previous webinars was called, and he'll tell you more details. But let's say the ideal scenario: you have a product, you're on page number 1. Okay, going to the top, it's easy, but going down, it's something that happens sometimes. So Dilip and SellerApp are going to show you what they do with their tools, because the idea is how to optimize that, how to grow and use the different tools so you can keep on growing in our market. So thank you, Izabela and Dilip. Let's get started. Tell us what to do. I know you guys, but I'll pretend that I haven't seen you. So just educate us and introduce yourself.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. I will start from where Izabela has left. So Amazon has really changed over the past 6-7 years, right? It was really easy for you to just launch and expect magic to happen on Amazon. I think things have really changed over the last 6-7 years. The competition is really fierce. And what really I wanted to do today is pick some of the points which Izabela has pointed out there, and how you can really use data to your advantage. So all the folks out there, like, I think there are super smart sellers out there who are actually speaking today to you, but unfortunately or fortunately, I'm not a seller. So I've been engineer all my life, and work with 3 to 4 major corporations in 5 different countries. So been into the software industry, software engineering world for almost like 15 years right now. And I entered the advertising domain close to 7 years back, while I was actually running a startup based out of Singapore. And one of the fascinating factors at that point of time was the growth of Amazon advertising. So Amazon was in the very early stages. The whole across the globe, Amazon was generating less than $1 billion in terms of total ad spend. But there was a very clear indication that more and more advertisers, more and more sellers were essentially spending money on Amazon, and Amazon was really growing, right? So when we looked at that specific number, and it was very clear to me to build a platform, build a solution on the top of Amazon. That's where we started. So we started way back in 2017. And last year, we collectively, all our advertisers put together, we managed close to $290 million of ad spend. And it has been growing at 100-200% year on year. And so today, like, what I would try to cover is, as again, Izabela has mentioned, the domain has become really tough. And most of the sellers, like, if you look at the initial part of your journey, it's more about your intuitiveness and ability to launch a great idea or come up with a good product idea and launch on Amazon. But when you really start growing, when you start scaling, it is the execution which will become a difficult part. So what I'm trying to cover in the next 10 minutes or so is to quickly go through the most critical data points in each phase of your journey. So we call it as SSOS, which is like your search, your sell, your optimize, and the finally is a scale part, right? So the first part, search, I think, I mean, I was just quickly going through the chat just before my call, and I could see some of you are yet to launch a product or still in the search phase, and you're trying to identify the first product to sell. So here, again, when you really look at Amazon, as my previous speaker said, I mean, it's a very long journey, right? It's not a 3 months, it's not a quick fix, or it's not a trick game or whatever it is. It's going to be a long journey. So how fierce are you, and how I mean, long term you're thinking, that's super going to be important, right? And what happens here is, I have seen companies, individuals launching products which might be in a very low margin category, right? I mean, they try to launch a product, and after they source the product, ship it to Amazon warehouse, and start making the initial sales, they realize that it's very difficult for them to essentially make a profitable business out of it. So this is one of the most important missteps which we have seen, where sellers identify a product, but it's finally of low margin and they cannot really scale up, right? Second one is essentially entering into categories where there are like very heavy marketing spends required. And this we are actually recently we were actually advising a brand which is making more than $3 million per month. But overall, the spends are really, really huge. And the CPC has been shooting up, the ACOS is shooting up. And finally, at the end of the day, even if the revenue is reasonably good, the customer is not able to scale up, right? And the last and most important thing is actually trying to sell a product by looking at quick data. Like, and if you look at it, there are most of the tools try to give you the estimated sales based on the bestseller rank at that point of time, right? And this may or may not hold good over the period of time. I mean, it may be at that point of time, there may be a demand, the product has made reasonable sales and the bestseller ranks are good. And it may show a high estimated size sales, but eventually when you start selling, you might realize that the demand is not up to the mark, right? So entering into a product which has low demand. So that's the first part. And then you actually start selling the product, right? I mean, you get into a right price, you start selling the product. But here comes the other challenges, like the most important thing is obviously you try to optimize with the right set of keywords. You identify what can drive organic traffic to you, and you will obviously look at the search volume, number of people who might potentially can come to your product, all those data, and then start improving your conversions and improve your positions, all of them. But again, the most important thing again here in this sell journey is actually going to be, you are trying to start creating a repeatable process which will help you to essentially help you in a longer part of the journey, right? So you are trying to essentially do that minor iterations at that point of time, which is actually improving your overall positions and finally overall revenue of the product. Again, here there are a lot of great tools out there, but one thing which you really want to do is you really want to optimize your listing to the best. And I think this seminar we actually saw a couple of very good partners out there who are actually helping you guys in terms of listings and creating an amazing listing for you. So this is actually going to be a super critical thing. And many of the sellers, what they're trying to do is, during the honeymoon period, they try to have a very average or okay to have a listing, and they expect the sales to happen magically, and it's not going to happen, right? So you really need to start your initial listing itself with a good analysis. So here, analyzing your competition listings and looking at other data points in terms of the relevant, the branded, all those things picture. So at SellerApp, we have actually built and we iterated, and we recently launched a new version of the listing quality index, which you can enter your ASIN from any of the Amazon marketplaces. And what we try to do is we try to look at around 43 or 44 odd factors and say to you that, okay, these are the improvements you should be doing, right? So here, instead of giving you very static data saying that, hey, your title should be of this many characters, your bullet point should be this. What we try to also do here is we also try to create a benchmark analysis of each of the category, right? So we really compare your listing with the top of the products out there in your same category or subcategory, and then rank your listing compared to your competition, and then give your ratings, right? So what again can happen is, maybe at this point of time, you might see your listing quality as a higher value, but probably in the next 2 weeks, there are chances that your competition might have done it better and your listing quality can go lesser, right? So it's always a relative value. And so we try to bring in that time factor into your listing quality. And so sellers can use this feature to their benefit. Again, in this, we also give you additional data points such as your reviews and ratings rates, like how your total number of reviews and ratings are actually changing compared to your competition. So this again will give you a picture in terms of how your products are really doing compared to your core competitors. Again, so some of these data points can obviously become an overwhelming problem for sellers. That's why we have built a platform like SellerApp, where we are daily organizing a very large amount of data, right? This can be from your keywords, it can be about your products, categories, subcategories, various Amazon fees, all of them put together. But that's why a platform like this always can help you. The initial part, as I told you, is always going to be your intuition and your product idea, but later part of the scaling journey, that's all about your execution. So now, not getting into detail about optimizing, again, there are multiple things you need to look at. I mean, you can obviously look at if you're already running your campaigns and all of them, you can actually look at. But what I really wanted to focus on today's thing is all about how do you really scale your product. And especially, it's also going to talk about how do you scale through advertising, right? And you all know that, like, if you really want to make a sale on Amazon, it actually comes out of one of these three ways, right? The first one is whether through an organic way, which means that somebody searches, finds your products, click buy, and then buy your product, right? Second one is you run an external traffic, like let's say like you have a good mailing list and you send it to all your subscribers saying, hey, why don't you look at my product and buy? So there is a chance of external traffic, or it can be from Facebook or social or any of those things, but any kind of external traffic. And the last one is essentially the Amazon advertising, right? And maybe 1 year back, if any of you have asked me that, oh, hey, I just launched the product, should I start advertising? My comment would have been, no, you shouldn't, because most of the time you should essentially have a certain number of reviews, ratings, overall the desirability aspects of your product ready before you start advertising. But Amazon has made it so important that recently, at least, right? I mean, even if you're launching the product, it's very, very important for you to start advertising from day one, right? And this is a trend which we have seen maybe from the last 4 or 5 months. So anyone who even launch a product from the day one, we suggest them to start advertising, right? And also the conversion rate of products which has a lesser number of reviews, we have seen this trend has constantly been improving. Earlier you will expect to have zero conversions, but recently we have seen that products, even if they don't have any ratings and reviews, people do convert, right? So let me talk about advertising and the importance of advertising a bit more. So when you actually start selling your product, obviously you are not generating any sales from your organic sales. You're not making any organic sales. I mean, your product may not be visible out there for people. And what you tend to do is, what you're trying to do initially is, like, once your listings are optimized, you have all the right keywords and all of them in your listings. The first thing you're trying to do is, okay, you're trying to run the campaigns. So all those clicks and all those conversions, you get it from your initial ad campaigns. It's always going to help in terms of gaining ranking for those keywords, right? So Amazon is one place where it is a very democratic. So the more sale you make on each of your keyword, the better ranking you gain, right? And I mean, I've seen someone telling this joke that if you are launching a product like Amazon Alexa, and if you can generate more sales for this specific keyword, you will be ranked better than the Amazon product itself, right? So that's the way. So you rank better, and then you obviously the market share will essentially continue, and this cycle continues, right? And then again, you kind of launch newer products and you enter and you become the market leader. Your brand is very visible. The branding story actually becomes very coherent and everybody knows about your brand, and you start launching newer and newer products and you become a much bigger brand out there. But at the bottom of the thing, what happens is you launch, you are not generating any organic revenue at this point of time. You start spending, let's say, at least $100 per day as a minimum ad budget to essentially start doing it, right? Earlier, if you have a very small budget, it was very easy for you to still rank and do it. But recently, I think because the competition as well as the importance of advertising, at least you need a minimum of $100 per day initially to start your initial journey. So now let me talk about this very simple math out.
Did we lose you, Dilip, for a second?
Is it fine now?
Yeah, yes. we hear you now.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so what I was actually telling you is, I mean, there are so many of you out there who actually try to do it yourself, essentially without the help of a platform. And there are a lot of great platforms out there. And so this, this slide actually helps you to really understand the importance of having a platform, right? Let's assume that you are just having one campaign and you are just having one ad group. And let's say you have 50 keywords to start with, right? And what we have seen is, even if you are a really good expert, it approximately takes around 20 minutes per week for you to optimize it, right? To understand the performance of your keywords, whether it is, converting, not converting, all those stuff, right? And let's say it takes 20 minutes of that time, right? And you start generating the initial sales, and you are already in a good growth phase. And you have now, let's say 10 campaigns, and let's say single ad group, but you have again 50 keywords. But now it actually takes around 200 minutes, which is approximately around 3 hours of time, right? Then when you start scaling up again, what happens is this essentially becomes something which you cannot do it manually, right? And that's where essentially a software come into help, right? I mean, the software is always helpful, not in terms of defining the strategy, but it is helping in terms of your execution. So you can create various kinds of strategies, like, and the platform can actually do it for you. Not only it saves you time, it also helps you to generate right kind of insights for the product. And most of the insights are actually contextual, and the platform can always keep the history, and always in the future, it can actually always make changes based on your previous actions which you have done on the platform, right? So the setting up an automation is again super easy. I will just take you through the screens after this, right? But again, the rules are essentially coming under around 4 categories, right? And what it does is it again plays around with some of these values, like it looks at the orders, it looks at the number of clicks, number of what is the current ACOS, what is the impression. So let's say you want to create a rule which actually saves dollars for you, right? Money saver rule, right? In that case, what it always tries to do is it always try to understand the specific search terms where you have got a higher number of clicks but not orders, right? It's trying to look at those search terms and understanding whether it is still not relevant. It try to mark it negative automatically without your presence and save dollars for you, right? Or the second one is actually an ROI optimizer, where you are looking at a specific target ACOS, and the platform automatically adjusts your overall stuff for that, right? Keyword harvester is again a rule which will essentially help you to look at the increasing your visibility, right? So you have, let's say you're generating an X dollars and you're looking at moving it to X to Y. Now you really need a tool which will essentially help you to mine and understand all those search terms which can actually give a higher visibility for you. And on the top of it, and there are always advanced users out there who really want to play much more than all these 3 rules put together. For them, there is always the custom rule which you can always do it, right? So let me just take you a bit next 2 minutes through the platform, right? So this is how, so the SellerApp has multitude of features, right? We do support all kinds of sellers, but recently our focus has been on brands which are actually scaling up across the globe. So we work with some of the huge brands like Coca-Cola and Philips and Samsung and all those big brands, as well as we support smaller brands who are still emerging, right? But again, just one feature, let's just quickly go through the advertising feature. I'm already running out of time, but let me just quickly go through it. So the advertising feature, the best thing in the case of advertising feature is like we try to organize the data in such a way that it is much more easily consumable for you, right? So you can set up your ROAS and for the overall account, and we try to generate insights and make actions based on your overall value. This is one way of looking at it. Second way of looking at is there are set of this is obviously the demo account, but you can click on the insights. What we try to do is, so you can assume that these are actually kind of actual insights which you can actually take actions, right? So what we try to organize it again based on 3 values. One is things which are search terms which are draining money for you, search terms which are working for you. If you really want to mine keywords, search terms from your automatic campaign, again you can do it. You can automatically man it to manual. If you're looking at essentially further doing optimization of your bids, that's again possible. So all those things are possible under the insights. Now, coming to automation, automation is where, as I told you, you can define your own strategy, right? You can define, let's say, money saver or a ROI or a target optimizer. You can define your rules, and the platform can do it at a very large scale. The advantage here is, okay, it's not about when you have a 5 campaigns or 3 campaigns. When you have hundreds of campaigns, how do you optimize without a human intervention, right? So it's very, very tough. So under automation, you can essentially, create your strategies. Also, you can also specify the hours or the time of the day where you want to run the campaign, right? And we also do have advanced features like day parting and other things, which I'm not covering into detail. So product analysis again helps you to understand essentially the product performance of it, product campaign performance, and you can actually further optimize. So great platform, and all those people who are out there today attending the webinar, I have just 2 points further to add. I think Nick will be saying to you, but we are really looking forward to all of the sellers out there in terms of their selling journey and positively affect their selling journey. And yeah, thanks, Nick, for the opportunity.
Okay, thank you, Dilip. So as you guys see, things are changing, they're flexible. So you guys need to be flexible like a Russian gymnast, even though Russian is not training right now. But let's go to the last speaker, John, because John has done everything from start to finish. I've been an e-commerce seller, but I've done very little on Amazon. I was D2C, and I was doing that 12 years ago. 12 years ago, it was the Wild West. You just use your phone, you paste the picture, you run an ad, and you become rich in 2 years. Right now, it's a different story. And John knows all the tricks because he has done it in the States, the most competitive market. So I'll let him introduce himself, and he'll tell what he's doing and what he should advise you. So thanks, John, and thanks for the patience.
Yes, yeah. I know we're a little short on time, but if I'm talking a little faster today, it's not because I had coffee. It's because I'm trying to get you guys cut loose from this. So today I'm going to cover some customer service hacks. Previous speakers today have mentioned are there tricks, are there hacks out there? I consider this a hack because very few people do this properly. So we're going to go into some hacks, some strategies that can take your customer service to a new level in 2022. We're going to talk. I'm going to do a little intro about myself. We get into the audit section. Then we'll cover strategy and then some tools that'll be useful for you. A little bit about myself. My name is John Elder. I run Black Label Advisor. It's a boutique agency, so I work with sellers who are just starting out all the way up to 7- and 8-figure brands. I specialize in helping people scale and exit properly. So a little bit about my background. I started in 2014, was that typical story of launching something on the side. It ended up growing really fast. For myself, I had a long-term vision of exiting someday. I exited in 2019 and had a multiple 7-figure exit, and now consult sellers and brands across the board. I also run a 14,000 member Amazon selling group, totally free. This is sellers helping sellers. And then I'm also there advising for free as well. And then just a little bit of background, I was a top 3,000 Amazon seller. So like Nick mentioned, I've been through every single hurdle, every single struggle you can imagine outside of an account suspension. So it's been a journey. And then I've been featured in Forbes, CNN, and other publications. So let's get into some of the juicy stuff. Here's just a quote: "Customer service is a virtue." That's based off of, everyone says patience is a virtue, which is true. So in a way, you are tolerant of something that takes a long time. So you should take that same theory there and apply it to how you treat your customers and your customer service experience. So many sellers on Amazon neglect this, especially the Chinese competitors that we're all competing with. I would say the vast majority of sellers are not doing this properly, and this is where you can really shine in your business. We're going to go into a little bit of housekeeping, the audit, I like to say. So when you're looking at your listings, you're constantly, reviewing your product reviews, or you should be. You should have software set up, whether that's AMZ Alert or SentryKit. You should have some tool that's alerting you, okay, I got a negative review. Sometimes those reviews are not even related to your product. It could be a shipping issue. A lot of the times you can get that addressed. So it's a really good thing to, maintain awareness of your reviews, understanding, are there trends happening where your product is failing the consumer in some way? It's really important to know that information. I like to use the Instant Pot inventor. He was kind of the originator of this idea of, negative reviews are actually good. And so you can take that and apply the negative feedback and constantly improve your product. And so what he does, he data mines everything and brings it back to his product and then makes it better. And so the same concept here applies. Seller feedback. A lot of people don't really pay attention to this. Seller feedback is something that you should be at least 98 or 99%. This is tied to metrics on Amazon. Let me go backwards. This is tied to metrics on Amazon. You don't want to get into a danger zone where Amazon gives you a warning for a possible account suspension. So you want to make sure that you are getting, shipping reviews removed from your seller account. Anything weird like that, optimize it, have a nice title for your business, have a nice bio talking about your mission statement. Really help the customer understand who you are. And if you do have that 90 or 99%, it's really going to help build trust. Correspondence, we talk a lot about Amazon, but Amazon isn't everything. So a lot of people I consult, yes, they're doing, 80, 90% of the revenue on Amazon, but they're also doing the rest. Mostly, it's split probably 90% on Shopify and the rest on Walmart. So, don't neglect those emails that you're getting from your customers on Shopify. Treat everyone the same. And it's really hard because there's so much. And this is also where a strong VA comes into play. This isn't a task that you should be doing per se. This is something that you can outsource easily. So next we're going to go into a little bit of strategy. This kind of gets into the Zappos model. So say yes until it hurts. You really need to treat each customer like family. You need to be saying yes for every request. I remember getting a request, we would love to have a discount on your kid's toy for a daycare center. Say yes. Okay, that spreads to their network. So, there's a lot of sharing of story that happens that you probably don't even realize. Even to the point of saying yes with the customer where chances are they're scamming you. Say yes to that person, whether it's a replacement, maybe they want a little bit of a discount because possibly your manufacturer messed up the product and you have a quality issue. Just always say yes. And so Zappos is a good example because they were known for actually going out of the way and driving to stores to find you a pair of shoes that you wanted. So if they were out of stock, they would go to extreme measures to make that happen. So have that type of thinking at the forefront of your business. Don't debate your customers. Word choice is really critical here. Bad versus good responses. Instead of, right out of the gate saying, well, wait a second, you want a refund and you want a replacement sent to you. Submit me evidence. Okay. That automatically puts that customer in a position of, it's uncomfortable for them. It's hesitation. The customers now don't want to be questioned. And so say yes, send them a replacement. And then on back end, it's totally okay to, request feedback. What happened exactly. So it's better to resolve that issue fast. And then you can always continue the conversation. Use emotion. Too many sellers on Amazon are just obsessed with efficiency. You really need your VA or your employee to be focused on enthusiasm. Add exclamation points to your emails. Ask them how their day is. How can your product improve their day? Ask them if their product is delivering on all the things you promised on your listing. Use emotion when you write and don't sound like a robot. So too many people sound robotic right now. And then keep it short. Don't be long-winded in your emails. just stay focused on delighting the customer. If you can do that and stay focused on that, remove all your emotion, and you make it their best day, and you resolve something, mission accomplished. Okay, 51% of all USA e-commerce sales happen on Amazon. Amazon did this because they built trust with the customer. I can go on to Amazon right now, and if I have any issue, even something that's outside of a 30-day window, I can ask Amazon for a return label. So maybe a life situation happened, and like, oh my gosh, we got COVID, for example. Amazon, can you make an exception? They're going to say yes, because they want you to come back over and over and over again. They use words like valued customer. You've been with us for many years, John. That's how you should speak to customers. And that's why Amazon controls more than half of all digital sales in the United States now. And they're forecasted to do 60%. Shopify has a way to go. They're kind of more of a decentralized network of sellers. And then Walmart has a really long way to go. I think they're like floating right around 8% or so. Okay, last section, tools. You really need to get your autoresponder emails optimized. This is really a great place for you to showcase your customer service. So don't settle for those boring emails. Hi, sir. Hi, ma'am. How are you doing? Was the product up to your standard? Really shine here. Really attack this from the front, and don't wait for issues to arise. So the most optimal way to go about this is to set up 2 emails. I love Feedback Whiz. I promote them everywhere I can. So the best option is to set one up at 5 days post-delivery, set another one up at roughly 12 days post-delivery. That's going to catch some of the people that, they got busy with life and they didn't have a chance to open up their package. Ask probing questions, ask them the quality of the product, ask them, did it satisfy them? Was there any feedback that you like to share with us as a company? Use it as a way to show that you're human beings, show that you're a small business owner if you are, and really focus on showing your mission statement to the customer. And so customers like to be part of a tribe. They like to be part of something bigger than just shopping on Amazon now. So they want to be part of your brand. They want to know, maybe you have an email list. Do you have any sort of outside marketing? Do you have social media accounts? They want to share with the world their awesome experience that they've had. Zendesk is a really great tool. I've used this over many years. A lot of my clients use it. So basically what it does in a quick nutshell is it condenses all the customer service emails into one location. So whether it's a Walmart email, whether it's a Amazon customer, it brings it all to one place. And then your VA can handle it from there and use the templates that you've set up for them to manage the customer service experience there. So it makes everything very streamlined. Final thoughts, rethink the customer experience. Instead of just doing the bare minimum, think about how you can go over the top. Put yourself in their shoes. I always ask this question with clients. I'm like, okay, what would you like the experience to be? And so they're like, okay, I would do this differently. Then go do that. Treat your customers like family. Use people's names. Especially with the name data on Shopify. Come across as down to earth. Use emotion. Really just be yourself and talk how other big brands talk. Whether it's a fine leather goods company or an adventure company, really focus on delivering that message to the customer. And then don't be stingy with returns. Don't debate them. Don't try to fight them. Say yes every single time. This is a cost of doing business. Over years and years and doing millions on Amazon, I never even thought about this. If someone had an issue, I'm going to take care of it. You're going to get either a replacement or a refund. And then with, kind of like unique issues, oftentimes I would send a $25 gift card for Amazon and really make their day. So only you are going to know from a business standpoint what makes sense there for those situations. But just remember, there's tools to resolve things and have people come away from your business with kind of like that wow effect. Remember the halo effect? This is really spreading on social media. This is a friend messaging a friend. Oh my gosh, this brand on Amazon is awesome. They actually reached out to me. I've had this great customer service experience. My wife is always finding things on Instagram and then Amazon. And whenever she has a good experience, she's like, oh my gosh, this is so great. This is how you should run your business. They didn't even debate me. They didn't even say, we're going to, charge for shipping. They just took care of everything. And so life is already complicated. Just think that way when you're dealing with customers. Use a VA or software for making sure your reviews are being monitored correctly. Stay up to date with that. And then, are the owner manuals hurting or helping you? So where people go bad here is creating a terrible customer experience with, opening up a package and the owner manual is extremely complicated. Here's a tip. Go to your top 3 competitors and maybe even purchase for some huge, big box retailers. Go look at those owner manuals and copy what they're doing. So you can take pieces that are really strong from a couple different manuals, but make sure if you have pieces and parts that you're building, make sure that you are clear and use really, really simple images and just deliver that and allow that to, basically your goal should be a 10-year-old should be able to put this together. And if they can't, you need to go back to the drawing board and fix that. So that's it for my portion. Go ahead and ask more questions in the chat. Here's my email. blacklabeladvisor.com is my main website. You can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. I'm pretty active on all 3. And then for the 20% off consulting services discount for today, go ahead and scan the QR code. That will take you directly to my site to book a free discovery call. All right, Nick, I'll hand it back over to you.
Yeah, thank you, John. That was very, very nice. So let me tell you something, what John just said. Explain it as you're talking to 6 years old, as simple as possible. The other, which is really important from what John said, your clients are your best ambassadors. If you make one client happy, he'll tell 5 of his friends. Then these 5 friends will tell 5 more friends. So it would keep on growing. So just keep on giving. Don't bother about the commercial part. If you keep on giving more than you're getting, eventually you'll start getting more than you have given in the beginning. But be positive, like I said, yes. And look at your competitors. If you're in doubt, see the guys on page 1, what they're doing, their packaging, their content. John posted his Twitter. Make sure you follow him because he's doing real life case studies. Here is a great product. Here is a great. Just follow John and you'll do that. He has a Facebook group with, I believe, 10,000 people. So that's for a reason. Izabela has 8,000 followers. I believe it's Instagram, right? Izabela, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Instagram is more like my personal social media.
I know.
If you want to see conspiracy theories and all the other crazy things I talk about, feel free to follow me.
Okay, so follow Izabela for the fun and John for the grow hacks. I know we're connected there, so he's doing that. If you follow him on LinkedIn, you have the wrong assumption. Twitter is the hardest social media. Twitter, you need to give 99% of the time. And obviously, this is what he's doing. So let's start with the question because we're over time already. And we have the Champions League in Europe in half an hour. So let's start with the question. So the first one is from Muzamal. We're facing an issue. One day sales are very good. The next day is very bad. One day PPC performs very, very good. Next day, the A cost is above 100. How can we overcome this issue? I'm not sure who's going to answer, but that's not for me.
Yeah, I can cover this one a little bit. This can get very complicated very fast. It depends on your, is this the launch phase? Is this an established brand? Some people like to turn off PPC. So to give a good answer on this, it's really hard to know because, this could be a competitor issue. This can be a listing optimization issue. So the question doesn't give us enough to cover. You'd have to research what's causing that and make sure your own PPC campaign is going well. So if anyone wants to add to that, feel free.
I think you can get in touch with John or some of our sponsors. They do that all the time. PPC, ACOS, they know all these tricks. So I'll send the follow-up email and you can inquire of one of them or several of them.
Yeah. Sometimes it's not a PPC issue. That's kind of I do this with consulting all the time. We're looking at your listings, we're looking at your campaigns. So, it's not always what you think. So it's, an outside set of eyes is helpful there.
Okay, one thing actually is not a question, but something that we just chatted with John in the meantime. Just something, John didn't took any profit from his business for a year and a half. He has been reinvesting all the time. This is something Izabela was telling in the beginning. He should be prepared to be patient and reinvest until you start making it as you would like to. So that's very important.
Yeah, I think 1 year it's pretty safe to say, a lot of people that I see that are very successful, one of the common things that they say, it's always that they reinvest in their business and they're not, that fast to take money out, because when you take money out, then you don't really have that much to put back in. And making sure that you have enough stock for the next 3 to 6 months, it's very important, because a lot of people they expect the worst. They don't think it's going to go their way. So I see that a lot when they come to RankBell and then we rank them on page 1, then they sell out, and then what happens is they're out of stock for a month or so, and then they have to start this whole process over and over again. And one, it's a little harder now because they're no longer in the honeymoon phase. But not only that, just getting back into the daily work of it just becomes way harder. So make sure that you have enough money, and don't be so fast to take everything out that you make. I think that's important.
Definitely. The people who fail the most are too quick to take out money. You really have to use that to purchase larger and larger purchase orders. And this is where a lot of people, this gets into an uncomfortable situation of, yes, you're running a business while you have your day job. And so for myself, I worked 3 years at my day job, really intense commercial construction industry, and working crazy long hours. And then every other hour of free time, I'm working on my business. And so I had to prove to myself that I could pay myself, the same salary as my day job before jumping ship. So it's really important to remember that, position yourself in a way where you're not relying on Amazon money the first 12 months, where you can just slam the growth and continue to reinvest.
Yeah, actually, I can confirm that, because when I was running my private label supplement business for 2 years, I used to do a consulting job for a big company. So unless when I started making like double what I was doing with my other job, then I switched. So a lot of times it starts as like a romance, e-commerce romance, and it can turn to a full-scale wolf eventually and then exited. And so you can call it like that. So let's go to the next question. So it's an anonymous attendee. Hey, my products are ranked on the first page of multiple keywords, including the main keyword, but the sales are not stable. The content is well done by native speakers. The pictures are good. So I think we don't have enough information here, but the thing is now, somebody needs to take a look at you, because content is good. I mean, that's very, very broad. I mean, there is A+ content.
Nick, yeah, just to add there, Nick, content, saying content is strong and your pictures are strong, that's very subjective. So, I work with clients where they've paid all this money. And then I'm kind of known as the harsh consultant. So I'll go in and do an audit of a listing, and I'll basically rip their listing apart and say, you need to basically get rid of all your pictures and redo it. So,
and nobody wants to hear that, especially after they spend thousands of dollars. It's tough.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough conversation, but whenever they take action like that, it's amazing, because they're like, oh my gosh, John, thank you for telling me, because now my business is growing and doing really good. And we fixed some of the optimization issues. So it's not fun and it hurts a little bit, but it's worth it.
Yeah, it's better to tell the truth. Otherwise, I mean, you're just wasting each other's time. So another question, Attila, like the great Hun. If you guys are following history. So, hey guys, I had a listing that was closed due to a policy violation. Now I want to make another listing without the prohibited keywords. I had deleted the listing A, B, and D. I'm not sure if that's the word. Created another one. Do you think it would be okay now? Please help if possible with some advice. Thank you.
Let me just answer this. I think we recently worked with one of the brands on a similar issue. So the problem here is the amount of information which Amazon shares with you is very limited, right? I mean, Amazon may not give you the exact, term or a search term or a text or whatever you have used, right? So it's actually gonna be very difficult. But again, before that, I want to understand which category you are selling, because again, a lot depends on the category which you are selling, right? I mean, let's say you are selling in a personal care and you try to use some terminologies like, let's say, something free or whatever it is, there are chances that it automatically gets into the Amazon auto algorithm and Amazon kinds of flags it. So it's super important to understand there are, so and again, these are not words which Amazon publishes it anywhere. So you really need to work hard with your support ticket and be patient. I'm sure that it can pay you off.
Yes, there are no games on Amazon. Like the keywords have to line up for what you're selling for sure.
Okay, guys, I think we have another one. So from Luis, I really battle to get good advice from Amazon advertising on optimizing my campaigns. How can we best educate ourselves? I think that's for you, Dilip.
I think the first option is obviously advertising. I think don't try to cover it. It's actually a long game, right? It's not a short-term game, and you really need to start first with your listings. And just to add to the previous question as well, right? I mean, there are a lot of people out there who just spends like $5, $10, go to Fiverr and create a listing and expects the magic to happen, right? So it's very difficult. So you basically start with a good listing, identify what can work for you in terms of keywords, and start running some automatic campaigns. Again, if recently what I've seen is, at least if you don't have a budget of at least $100 per day, it's super tough for Amazon to like your campaigns and even get impression shares, right? So you really need to start with a decent budget. And from those auto campaigns, you can really understand in the next 30 days to 45 days what kind of customers are actually converting for you. And then you basically start focusing on those and then expanding, right? So again, if you are in the launch phase, at least try to identify around 20, 25 search terms which are working for you. And then when you go to the next level, you move that 20 to, let's say, 50 and then 100 search terms. So it's actually a long patient game again.
Okay, one question is from Blake, but I think John answered that. What are some tips for creating a beautiful owner's manual? I think you answered that, John, but if you want, you can add something more.
Yeah. I mean, buy products from your competitors, go into big box, whether that's Costco or Target, go look at their owner manuals and take the best parts from them. None of that stuff is copyrighted. Obviously don't copy, trademark names and things like that. But, the content of like how to build a kid's toy, that's not copyrighted information unless they have it on there. But, be as clear and concise as you can, and also test with your friends and family. Ask them, if you had this, would this make sense? And over time, your customers will give you feedback. There might be like maybe step 2 is a little confusing, and you'll get some reviews, and you'll go back to the drawing board and fix that. So over time, this is where product innovation happens, where your listing is continually, month after month, is getting stronger. Okay,
thanks, John. Another question from Paul. What strategies discussed by presenters today are most relevant to new just beginning to sell on Amazon? Actually, there's one thing that we didn't discuss today. One of my partners, ZoneGuru, they have a product research tool. So obviously, before you start even selling, you need to find what you're going to sell. Obviously, there's other tools like Helium 10. I'm not sure, Dilip, do you guys offer that as well? Because I'm not sure for the product research.
So what we have, So on SellerApp right now, if your revenue is less than $10,000 per month, I think all the features are absolutely free for them. Product research, keyword research, everything they can use. So we are actually focusing on bigger brands. So if you're a beginner, you can absolutely start using the platform free, sign up to sellerapp.com and start using all the features.
Exactly. So see, Dilip is the place to go. But if you decide to go in Europe, you would need me before that, and you need the VAT. And And one question actually from Isabella, that's from Paulino. Okay, Paulino, the question is the following: which is the easiest market to launch on Amazon globally? I've never had such questions so far, but it's
I mean, I'm the opinion that, Amazon.com is probably the best, only because we already have all the tools. There's a lot of softwares that are available in US. It's an easy search, a lot more eyes on the product. So I would say if you were to start right now, I would start on Amazon.com. And once you get the hang of things, then you can expand to other countries. And I've seen it done multiple times. And I've seen it done the other way around, where somebody launched in Europe and then they launched in US. But I always think, just Amazon.com is just it's just so good right now. I mean, yeah, the competition is a little harsher, but you can learn a lot and you get a lot more eyes. You have a higher chance of being super successful. You can be successful in all the other countries as well, but you won't have as many sales, I would think. I mean, that's just my opinion. I don't know how Dilip or John feel about it.
Yeah, so I'll just say this. When we're talking, 7 and 8 figures on Amazon, I would say people are doing 90% in USA. So it's like, it's like drops in the bucket compared to what's possible in America. And that's just the reality. I mean, if you're in the NARF program and you are selling, your units on Mexico and Canada, it's going to be nothing compared to what you're doing in the United States. So I've sold in Japan, the UK, the EU, Australia, and there's just not the market share there where people just click and buy an easy credit, because in America, money's it just floats, right? So, people have access to unlimited debt here. So it's incomparable, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's right. And the thing is, if you succeed in the States, then you should start in Europe. It might seem hard, but this is what we do. We're expansion experts.
Yep.
No, VAT, it's hard. But once you establish yourself, it will be really, really easy compared to the States. You'll be less competitive. And then, once you establish yourself, you should forget about the competition if you have done it correctly in the States. So let's say if you're doing 1 million in the States, you must expand to Europe, because you succeed for sure. You need to do the proper translations, the other stuff, but it's much easier. And Europe is still undeveloped, like John is saying. There is huge potential. It's, of course, start in the States, so because you get the most data, the most sales, you can optimize your campaign before you do that. So I don't think we have any more questions. So let me just mention the giveaways, because we're talking about only content. So let me just share what we're doing today with the speakers, and I'll let everybody go and enjoy the rest of the days, evenings for me and Dilip. So HelloTax is gonna give away 6 free VAT registrations, which is over $2,000. So if you want to set up and start selling in Europe, get in touch and we can hook you up with these free offers. RankBell is gonna provide you a free audit of your keywords, and they offer 20% of their first campaign with RankBell, which is a value up to $1,000. Black Label Advisor and John will do 20% of their consulting services for the first 20 signups of the clients today. So we have over 300. So just go and grab one. The value will be 1,000. And SellerApp would provide 4 free consultations and brainstorming sessions for up to $1,000. And I'll send all the details here. You don't need to write this down. We have plenty more from the gold sponsor, from Tomer Rabinovich and his product research workshop, and the other speakers like AMZB and Quidus for the services. So I'll send that in the email. If you like what we're doing, if you like my partners, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can add me on LinkedIn, and we'll let you know when we do the next one, which would be probably in 2 weeks if we manage, if not after Prosper show, because for sure 2 of these guys here will be on Prosper, John and Isabel. I might be mistaken, but if you guys are in the States, go to this event. I'm not gonna go there this year, but next year I might go. I'll combine vacation and some networking with many of my partners. So thank you guys for joining the event, to all the attendees. Thank you for the speakers, John, Isabella, Dilip, and I guess we should do something else. some other time. But now let's enjoy the rest of the days. In the
Awesome.
middle of the
Great
week,
to be here. Thanks for
so
having
we
me.
can start descending from the peak, which is Wednesday. So thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Take care, everybody.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.